Alright, no luck, got scratched a little bit, but nothing too serious. Yeah, not serious at all. And now it's just kiting and fighting. Another thing I can do is I can hit them with stuns with Bunny. So let me do that next while everybody stands their ground. And we're just about through. I think we're basically done enough that I'm going to unsuspend the zoning restrictions. Bunny, let's have you go kill Owens and Sparkles now. And that way you get your mood up to ×5, which I think is, what, 37, I believe? Because I plan on giving her the Harmonizer. So if she has the Harmonizer, keeping her happy is going to be important, because the way this Psychic Harmonizer works is it makes your mood infectious. Basically, people around you within, I think, 25 tiles or so gain some of your mood. So if you're in a bad mood, it will make them more upset. If you're in a good mood, it will make them more happy. A very powerful tool when used well, but it can definitely backfire on you if you're not careful. And when these bears are all finished off, pods have arrived, and there it is, the Harmonizer. We also have an Altec shirt that I could use either for Sven or Bunny, but it doesn't really offer a lot of protection, and I don't find myself to be doing too much sidecasting, so I'm not really urgently wanting to use that. So next person to go to sleep will get the surgery. So Trustin can get 2 bionic arms and a bionic eye. Sven can get a neurocalculator and a bionic eye. And then Bunny can get the Harmonizer. And that quest is now done. The corpse stockpile looks just about ready. Now, unfortunately for me, it seems like only maybe 2 or 3 of the bears were butcherable, but that stands to reason given my given the difficulty. Scaria rotting is a very high % chance. So one thing I wanted to do, which I will queue up now, is I wanted to get Sven researching the chocolate trees so that I can have a gluttonous research or gluttonous a recreation type, not research type. Gluttonous is covered by either chocolate or by insect jellies. So let's do that. A bionic eye. Let's say bionic eye actually in the left eye because your right eye is scarified. And that would require a new scarification ritual if I did it like that. And the neurocalculator. And Mr. Trustin is going to do these surgeries, and we're just going to use your bed because it's a masterwork bed, and this is not a hospital bed, and this is pretty sterile enough that I don't think it's much of a risk. Okay, first surgery went well, and that would be the eye, and now the neurocalculator. Done. I might as well, because Bunny is asleep, do the Harmonizer. Yes, that knocks 2/5 of my forces out, so could be a little risky, but I think I'll do that anyway, just to reduce downtime. Another thing that is worth noting is because I have all of my slaves doing doctoring here, or many of my slaves, it's really important that I control exactly who does the surgeries, because if I allow one of these slaves that I've got to do the surgery, it could backfire tremendously, because the slaves are terrible doctors, but technically they would be allowed to perform the surgeries, so you got to be really careful about that. There is no setting for like minimum surgery requirement or anything like that, so we got to be cautious. So Sven is working to research right now autocannon turrets, but I want to pivot over to chocolate. And that way, once we finish off the Devilstrand farm sowing, we can start up with chocolate trees. Because that will be, like I said, another recreation type. Zaleb, let's have you burn some of these bodies. And then another thing I'm going to want to do is to do the same thing over here. So how many polar bears are there? There is 19. So a 4x5 should just be fine. Just hold them all. Allow rotten corpses of animals. And we'll stockpile all the bears there. Oh, one thing I didn't do is strip off nice clothing from here. Like the recon stuff. So there seems to be another recon helmet. And this stuff will smelt down for some plasteel. So that's something I ought to remember to do in the future. Is anytime there's corpses with valuable stuff. Obviously the flat can be smelted down as well, but it only yields a little bit of cloth, so it's not nearly as important as the recon armor. And technically speaking, Bunny could wear the recon armor without a problem, because she is bloodlust, and bloodlusts don't mind wearing tainted gear. But I do just plan on smelting that down rather than wearing a dead man's gear. That's not really royal fitting. And these bears are getting piled up. And then Zaleb will grab the Molotovs again. I don't like leaving my charge rifle on the ground there, but should be fine for a brief drop. And there we go. We have cleaned up all the bodies. So we'll delete these zones. Make sure to keep killing off the wildlife that would eat our seeds. I'm also going to have my slaves clean up really everything that is gross around the map tile, because they're going to be idle pretty soon. There's not a lot of work for them to do other than sowing the farm fields, and sowing the farm fields is a higher priority anyway. So just to have a nice and tidy map tile. Another thing I might be able to do is to turn cleaning off for all of my colonists so that they never are asked to do any of this cleaning. And that way we're not going to be tying them up for tasks that I don't want them to do. All right, so that's the last bionic eye that I need. Probably the rest of our resources are going to go to making the advanced components, and I don't suspect that I'm going to have a lot of plasteel for that. So as soon as the research for chocolate is done, I'll be getting back on the ground pen scanning to hopefully find some plasteel. We keep getting visitors, but none of the visitors are the royal tribute collectors, which is disappointing because I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep this prison population until I decide that it's basically more effort than it's worth and it's slowing down our progress. What I could do is I could keep some of them. Maybe perhaps the ones that I would remove their legs so they wouldn't keep trying to escape or anything like that. But just feeding them is quite a big burden as well. That's another factor to consider. No, I'm trying to deal with that feeding them factor by growing a lot of potatoes and corn and feeding them that. Because if I get a large potato and corn yield, what I could do to make it a little bit easier to feed them is to put like a nutrient paste dispenser here. And because vegetables don't rot very quickly, I can just have hoppers out in the open and feed them that way. So that's something that I'm planning if I do end up keeping them a while, is to just build yet another nutrient paste so that we can not make this north-south run constantly when we're trying to deliver food, because that obviously does slow us down. All right, we do have some people sleeping, so we've got Trustin's big surgeries to do. I think what I want to do is, because of the quantity of surgeries that he's going to need, I'm going to do the surgeries in the hospital, just so that we don't screw this up. And it looks like Trustin is going to need new scarifications because his scar is on his left arm and his left arm is about to get replaced. So there's 1 of 3. Yep. Glad I looked over here. Yeah, one of the problems of having a really small room for a deep drill is once it fills up with steel, it exposes your deep drill to be destroyed, potentially, because the door gets propped open. So these guys are visitors that will buy stuff. So I'm actually going to trade with them real quick, and the reason is they'll buy some of the crummy weapons that I don't need to keep. But they don't have a lot of money, so in order to afford this... Oh, they have an Eltex helmet? Sure, sure. Yeah, this will help balance the budget. Okay, close enough. 2 silver off, that's not that much of a problem. And now we're up in Eltex helmet. All right, Sven, you were supposed to do the last surgery before going to sleep. And then Trustin will be fully modified with all the things we need. So done. Double arms, double legs, an eye, and a healing enhancer. An Imperial ship crash. 10 honor would easily be enough for Bunny to become a countess. So they definitely have my attention. I'm probably going to want to wait as long as I can to accept this quest, so that Trustin isn't sedated, so that if I need to fight with him, I can. And the Eastern Devil Strand 2 field is nearly done. So if I help out you, Imperials, would you please send a tribute? That's on the forefront of my mind. Ooh, a soother for males. That's nice. So Trustin is up, but he's still going to be pretty woozy, which means that he's not that combat effective, and there is a risk that he sort of wanders as a result of his wooziness. So that's a risk as well. One that I might be willing to take, just given that a ship crash usually requires all hands on deck. But we'll see. So for smelt apparel here, this is all tainted apparel, and this is a... Oh, they're both tainted apparel? How are they different? I think they're identical. So I'm going to do another smelt apparel of clean flak. So we'll keep the flak helmets, but the jackets, pants, and vests, not the vest, but the jackets and pants, I'm going to smelt. I don't really value them so much as clothing. The problem with the pants, they offer good protection, but they slow you down. And then the jackets offer good protection, but they're not as good as, they're often not as good as their dusters. So this flak jacket has a sharp of 46 versus the duster that I'm wearing has a sharp of 81. So the vests don't cover a piece of clothing that we would otherwise use anyway, except for royals, which have the formal clothing. So the vests are fine. The vests do slow us down a little bit, but we all have bionic legs. But the jackets and the pants, I don't care for. All right, let's accept this. We're going to be accepting this with Bunny the Baroness. And they have... I could not have lucked out anymore because they landed in my monument marker, meaning that it's going to be extraordinarily difficult for... Oh, God, this is kind of funny. It's going to be extraordinarily difficult for the raiders to get access to these guys. But then also this monument, I think, crashed. And they destroyed the monument themselves and ruined my relationship with them themselves. So, yeah, I guess they deleted one of the floor tiles on their arrival, and I got blamed. So that's cute. But because it's so close to my base, I also don't have to rally everybody early. I can take my time. Man, I don't think I've ever seen it land in a monument. Especially an active monument. Because then I got blamed. So the people that are attacking for this crash is the Vema Alliance. And the Vema Alliance here is a savage tribe, so it's going to be just tribals. Which isn't so bad. And they should be arriving any minute now. Here they are. 27 of them to southwest. So, one of the things I want to do is to make sure that I send my shield belt protected slaves, which is all of them, I guess, down to go protect. So we'll line up the slaves as a cannon fodder wall, and then my shooters. And I'm sure to be leaning into side casting for this one, because we are outnumbered pretty considerably. In fact, let's have you back up a little bit too. I don't think I'm going to get in position in time. So the kind of weapons these guys have, there's a lot of brawlers in this group, which is pretty good against Berserk. So I'm going to try to Berserk some of their... Not a single one of them really has armor except for Hamster, so Hamster would be a good Berserk target. And let's have Zleb hit Marksman Command and move a little bit. Actually, don't Berserk Fox. Alright, where is Hamster? Here he is. So Hamster is their Berserker Chief. So he is uniquely armored. And then the rest of these guys, I'm just going to Berserk people in the group to soak some chaos. Alright, Sven got hit by a short bow, as did Bunny. I obviously don't want them to tank, so my slaves are going to progress forward and soak up those shots that have been coming my way. Their Cataphract is helping to defend as well, but he's kind of dangerous to me a little bit. Some of these slaves are arriving a little late. Should have got the movement early, but looks like they're all retreating. So, mission success. I can have Trust and do some tending of Bunny and Sven. The stupid Cataphract better not shoot me. I'm a little worried about that. And we're done. So all I need is Trust to do 10 to Sven. Undraft everybody. Looks like Buddhaman has an active bleed, but I don't think I really got... Yeah, I really didn't get that much in terms of wounds, thanks to all the shield belts. And Goro, how are you doing? Goro, you are going to be tended without medicine. I have plans for Goro. So I am going to capture Goro. We'll throw Goro into... up here. It's fine. I'm planning on sacrificing Goro, if you were wondering. So there's the rescue shuttle. And they are off. And now I can become a countess. So sometime tomorrow when we are ready, I will ascend to the highest rank obtainable. I'm just making sure to tend them without medicine, so it's going to go a little faster. And we are done. I'm not sure why Trustin isn't asking to become scarified. He should have a scarification desire. A bug, perhaps? I'm not really sure. If we go to the prisoners here, nutrient paste meal for the new one, and as soon as he gains consciousness, I plan on sacrificing him. Ooh, a little rain. This will go a long way to cleaning up some of the blood and vomit everywhere. And the chocolate trees have finished, so we have one in the south. And then when that is sown, I'll plant others. An orbital drone hack. Well, that's another fun map tile event that I'll be accepting sometime soon. So let's go ahead and accept the quest for Countess. So everybody's going to sort of wait around where the event takes place so that they can be present. But not dirtying up the room. Everyone's going to be in attendance for the best possible quality expectation. And hopefully she'll learn a powerful psycast. Well, I mean, she'll definitely learn one, but I don't know which one. Okay, I gained some additional honor, 3 additional honor because of the quality of the ceremony. And I also gained Manhunter Pulse. Not useful in the desert, but maybe my next map tile it will be useful. As far as her needs go, they're already fulfilled because I already built the bedroom in time, or ahead of time, and the throne room meets all the requirements because, of course, it already had with Sven. Which means all of these prisoners here are going to be for Trustin's royal rank. Very, very eager for that caravan to finally arrive. So this will be a corpse dump for the human likes that are here, so I can burn them once it's done raining. And we'll pick a permit choice, and I think I'm going to do a transport shuttle for her. No, I'll do another cataphract. I think what I'll do is for Trustin, I'll have the non-combat choices. So it seems to me that I am flat out of plasteel, so I'm going to send Sven over to work on the ground pen scanning. And No Luck just keeps manufacturing wonderful art. So we can pretty up the base, and that also increases the wealth value. So my wealth value is at 232,000 or so, and climbing. Once Trustin gets back on tailoring, when he's finished all this fabrication, there will be an opportunity to build even more wealth. Most of the slaves are now healing up. Goro, are you conscious? Yeah, Goro's just conscious. So the thing I'm going to do tomorrow morning with Goro is sacrifice him to maximize the suppression of all my slaves. So I do have some slaves that don't have 100% suppression because the moment they were converted, if I didn't have the correct clothing for them ready, they just wouldn't be suppressed fully and immediately. So I pulled Goro in to help with that. We'll kill Goro in front of all the slaves, and then the slaves will have maximum suppression, reducing their rebellion timers the most I can. Oh, that is a big prison break. It's a big enough prison break that I think I'm going to need everybody dealing with this. Ideally, the slaves will do most of it. And then let's not allow free fire at will. But another way to deal with this is to throw some psycasts in, so I can vertical pulse them once Sven's present. Sven doesn't have enough psi focus to do berserks. And here we go. Okay, I hit a whole bunch of them with the berserks. So now it's just a matter of punching them down. And this is going to be a continual, I'm sure, a continual frustration of having all these prison population that I have to regularly suppress them like this and then patch them back up is going to be annoying. But that vertical pulse was pretty effective, as they're all vomiting now and not really fighting me. Not all of them are vomiting, but most. All right, I think they're just about done. I'm going to have my colonists leave the area, and the slaves will finish this up. So I only had one slave, or two slaves rather, get knocked unconscious. None of my slaves have permanent injuries. And I'll check them for permanent injuries. I don't see any, not obviously. So now it's just a matter of cleanup. Yet again, another prison break. Day in the life of an architect. Some of my guys are waiting to be tended to. I think what I'm going to do, because most of these are just bruises, is use herbal medicine because I'm running rather low on industrial meds. One of the things I probably need to do is to get some Nuturamine so I can make industrial meds. But I believe we're all patched up now. And all that's left is to rescue those that are knocked out and patch everyone up. So this monument has been defiled as a result of the shuttle landing in it. So I don't really need to keep it. The thing is, I might be asked to make another monument, and if the next monument requires sandstone floors, I don't have to re-put the floors down. So what I'm going to be doing here is destroying the walls and the other structures built into it, but not the floors. I'll leave the floors because you can't get resources back from flagstone anyway. So there's really no advantage to ripping up the floors. Sven, let's have you tend to the slaves. Not to be kind, but to get them back to work. I'm a little bummed that I lost 10 rep with the Shattered Empire as a result of them landing squarely in my monument. That's definitely their fault, not mine, and I got blamed for it. But the Arc of Nexus quest doesn't really require me to be allied with them, so it doesn't matter, I suppose, in the end. All right, we are just about ready to be fully recovered from that rebellion, except for Goro. Oh yeah, Goro, you don't really have a bed. Here, let me fix that. And I hadn't sacrificed Goro yet, so that's the last thing I want to do, as long as Goro is conscious. So tomorrow morning, I'll rally all of my slaves. The fact that Buddha Man is probably going to be unconscious for it doesn't matter because he's already maxed out. Well, that will be annoying. Come on out. Door's open. Oh, you idiot. I'm trying to get Lucid to do the tanking. Oh, perfect. Lucid throws a punch. Ooh, and we have dromedaries migrating. That may not be too terrible to hunt. I think at this point we are making enough vegetables that I can switch this over from meat to veggies, but obviously we're very low on meat, even with the polar bears that came to attack us. So this hunt here is a bit of a must. And it looks like all slaves are going to be able to be in attendance. So I'm going to have all slaves move towards the ritual room. And once they've gathered there, I'll trigger the ritual. One of the things to note is if your slaves can't get there in time, they don't benefit from it. So it's important to do it like this so that they are definitely in attendance. So now we are going to trigger a execution, and we're going to execute Goro. And because just the way I did with the Royal Ascension, we gathered everybody so that everyone can attend. And one of the benefits here is, and you'll see, all the slaves that are not fully suppressed will become fully suppressed as a result of the ritual. Boom. And because everyone was in attendance, now you can see Slave Rebellion 22 years, or 9.5 years, or 8.5 years, 11 years, almost 10 years. 19 years. It depends on the health and quality, but we have definitely fully suppressed the slaves. And this is where I'm going to leave off. Thank you for tuning in to episode 32 of The Architects Crash Into Me. Was that not the most ridiculous place for them to land? How on earth am I blamed for that? Well, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you'd like to chat with me or any members of my community, Discord's the place to be. Rodamont.com or the description of this video both have links to Discord. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, architects. Welcome to The Architects, a rimworld fluid ideology series about pursuing the Archinexus. Episode 33, Fire Sale. To briefly recap, last episode, we managed to get Bunny her desired rank of Countess. We did this in 2 parts. The first part was the unstoppable polar bear quest for 6 honor, where we killed 22 manhunting polar bears. And then the second one was a little unfortunate. It was a Imperial ship crash to defend the Imperials from a bunch of tribals, pictured here. And unfortunately, they crashed right smack dab in the middle of a monument built to them, ironically. And because it was so perfectly centered, I can't help but to think they were aiming for it. But I digress. In the YouTube comments, Morgan pointed out that 2 of my prisoners here have pretty good clothing. Kelly and Mikhail both have hyperweave parkas. That brings me to one of the goals of this episode. I think at this point, having waited a considerable amount of time for a royal tribute collector, I'm going to start selling prisoners. My plan is to sell 2 prisoners per episode until I have none left. So this episode, I'll be selling Kelly and Mikhail and also selling their clothing. Knowing that I'm about to sell clothing, I would like to get Trustin and No Luck hitting production commands and trying to get as much clothing out as possible so that when Bunny goes to Lindsay City to sell those slaves and all the clothing that I don't need in the stockpile anymore, I can make the most money possible. Trustin right now desires a little bit of a scarification, and I think that's actually something I'm going to do for him immediately. I would like to maybe do it without Goro as a corpse in the middle of the ritual room. Another thing that I could do to help out this ritual room is if we take a look at the scarifications, the scarification ritual doesn't require an impressiveness, but things like a leader speech or conversion ritual would. So perhaps some of the next art that No Luck makes should be installed in our ritual room, in our shrine. So I've just drafted everybody to rendezvous to the ritual room so that when I trigger the ritual, we don't have to wait too long. So here it is. Trustin, Bunny, and 10 participants. I'm leaving Sven. Oh, it was canceled. Interesting. Let me try that again. I'm leaving Sven out of it so that he can ground pen scan, because I'm really hoping to find some plasteel. Another thing I'd like to do is to put that nutrient paste machine in here, or install rather a new one. So I have queued some of the walls to be broken down to that end. And Trustin's scar is on his bionic leg, which doesn't make that much sense. I guess we're hypocrites. Pain is virtue, but we're not very virtuous. And bringing Goro down to the corpse pile. So that was a spectacular scarification, and everybody present is going to be happy for a bit. No Luck and Trustin, you're standing in the right place at the right time. Let's suppress Raka's little berserk. And now we'll stick a nutrient paste machine here, and then rice in like that. The reason I've been waiting to build this is up until now, we really didn't have a good source of vegetables. We were pretty low. But I think with all of these potatoes, it's going to be easy to install nutrient paste again. And this will cut down on the round trip time to get food to feed them. Let's have Trustin start building that. Looking at the work priorities, I'm going to set Slave 4 as their dedicated cleaner, and then things should get a little bit cleaner as a result. It was looking pretty nasty. So these hoppers here are going to be vegetarian only, because this is not refrigerated and meat would spoil pretty quickly. I like how they installed meat before I was able to set up their stockpiles. We'll move the meat though. Hopefully before we redeem. There we go. Thank you, Bunny. I was going to say hopefully before we use up the meat for nutrient paste. And a bulk goods trader from West Hinia. Oh, that's very convenient. I was going to head out to West Hinia, and I probably still will because I need to sell some slaves. But having them come here allows me to make a whole lot of silver off of all of the clothing here that I've pulled. And I think I still will bring these slaves to market, meaning I'm going to let them keep their clothing for now, but very convenient that a bulk goods trader was dispatched to me. And the colonist with the best trade price improvement would be Bunny by about 3%. When she's up, I'll have her trade with Bishop. In the meat stockpile, I think I'm going to add wort, because wort rots very quickly when not refrigerated or frozen. And here is the trade. Something that I might want to do in the trade is to buy more meat, because there's not a lot of things to hunt in this map tile. And now I have just a whole mountain of clothing to sell to them. Almost everything that I can sell to them, I can make back, even the double strand, but I need to make sure that they can afford it. So that looks good. Make sure to haul that hare meat before any of their animals eat it or it gets rotted or anything like that. And that's some pretty good trading. So now you'll see that the round trip time to keep the prisoners fed, very, very short. Except for nobody has been withdrawing food. But still, it's a benefit. Definitely a benefit. I may need to do a forced high priority hauling, however, because just looking at the amount of resources that I have outside my wall, it's not a comfortable amount. It could definitely yield to some upset if there was a fire or theft or something like that. So Sven, I've got to ask, when might I be able to expect that you'll find a proper plasteel node for us? I'm holding my breath and kind of asphyxiating in my anticipation. One thing I wanted to check is if they had Nuturamine. They did. All right, let me buy their Nuturamine and sell a little bit more stuff. Nuturamine is one of those ingredients that will allow us to make our own medicine, proper high quality medicine, so most definitely worth buying. And there we go. All we need now is a little bit of a harvest of the cotton that we planted, wherever it is. Yes, here it is. So as soon as that hits 100%, we'll be making our own industrial medicine, and that way we don't have to use so much herbal. No luck. and Trustin hit production command. And then Sven hit him with a work drive. Trustin will be making clothing very quickly, I think. And hopefully good clothing, too. Another prison break. So we have Bigo, Snowy, Ferret, Mikhail, and Lobster. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got it. I don't have too many slaves that are in the right place to suppress, but I'll do what I can. Whoa, Zleb, let's hold fire. I want them downed, but not necessarily dead. All right, let's get in with some melee. Try not to have my colonists get too hurt. Tanking as much as I can with these slaves. Although Lucid is going down, yep. And unfortunately for me, Mikhail is one of those that has a article of clothing that I want to keep. So in punching him, we are, in effect, sort of ruining the clothing that I was planning on stripping it off of him for sale. So, there it is. Suppressed. Lucid doesn't have any permanent injuries, and I don't really, truly care about any of the prisoners here because I'm not actually planning on using any of them. So Lobster lost a leg. May that be a reminder to her not to mess with us. Also seems to me that Lobster here does not have a roommate. So I'm going to move Comarero into Lobster's room. And let's return Lucid to a bed and actually give Lucid some decent medical treatment, just so that he can get back to helping us out. He came pretty close to losing his life, though. His torso is pretty ragged. Okay, now everyone's been patched. Just about. Trustin, I guess, doesn't really need to sleep very much, huh? Helps to be a quick sleeper with a unbelievably high quality bed. Not quite legendary, though. Not quite. Let's go ahead and force haul some more potatoes, because it looks like our nutrient paste machine is sort of running out of ingredients. And do the same down here with the steel, making sure that the steel doesn't prop open the door of the mining hut. So I'd like to wait a little while to go on caravan because Mikhail here needs to recover. He was one of the ones I wanted to sell. So because he's so injured, he's going to be moving really slowly, and that makes for bad caravanning speed. Sorry, Lucid. Today is not your day for getting injured. I shot an emu, and the emu went beelining for Lucid's neck. Someone will help you. At some point, Maybe. I'll have Trusted do it. Worried that no one would. So these bets here, I'm actually going to forbid. And let's tend you. So, even more injuries. Poor Lucy. He is barely lucid at this point. So the missing leg of Mikhail's definitely going to slow down that caravan, which is unfortunate, but still something I wanted to do. So I would say probably tomorrow morning, even if he's not fully recovered, that's when we'll be headed. Taking a look at my farming fields, it looks like almost all the sowing is done. These hop plants are about to be harvestable, but that means that my farmers might need new tasks soon. So I'm keeping that in mind. None of those tribals had any clothing that I particularly cared to grab. Dead man's clothing doesn't really have any resale value anyway. And we'll clear those bodies out. Hopefully the fire will hop to Beltrava route. Come on. Hop over. No such luck. That's too bad. Well, should have finished while I had the Molotovs in my hand. Very happy that Trustin just keeps making extraordinarily high quality crafts. That is absolutely going to help out our colony wealth. And for reference, our wealth is now sitting at about 231,000. It has been variable for quite some bit because I haven't really had the time to do a whole lot of wealth building as a result of dealing with these prison riots and the like. Definitely keeps me busy. An Exoticos trader flying overhead, not associated with a faction, and finding some scanned underground silver. Awesome. So, skin hardening and flesh shaping and brain wiring. The learning assistant would be nice. That would be welcome. The rest of the stuff, I don't really feel like I need those tech prints. Skin hardening is great, but it definitely makes you ugly. I would buy both if I had enough silver, but I don't have enough silver for both. So I'm just going to go with the learning enhancer for now. And that's down here, or learning assistant. And this speeds up your learning factor by 20%. I would probably say it's going to be best put in Trustin. So, Trustin, your rest needs are almost fulfilled, so next time Trustin goes down to sleep, I'm going to install it. The reason in Trustin is when you're a crafter and a constructor, you're constantly losing skill. As you can see, just mousing over this, 27, 23, 19. So you have to constantly commit to your craft. And the faster that Trustin learns, the more easily I'm going to hold on to level 20. So that's why I think it's probably best in him, because he's always having to relearn how to do crafting and construction to stay at the top of his form and at the top of his game. We scanned some silver underground. Open for plasteel, and yet another masterwork. Masterworks are becoming increasingly common. All of this was just to try to make the map tile nice, tidy, and clean, and we've pretty much done that. It's looking really nice. Getting all the blood out. If you're wondering if there's a point to this, there isn't. It's just a show of wealth and opulence that I can have so many slaves that I have a clean desert. That is a lot of masterworks. All right, why aren't my slaves eating? That's my next question. So, Bunny, are you ready? Yeah, it looks like you're ready. So Bunny is going to take a caravan up to Lindsay City. It's going to be Bunny, Kelly, Mikhail, Rise, and everything that I think they're going to buy. So I'm going to go ahead and bring... I have some tainted clothing that nobody's ever going to want, so I don't really need to worry about the tainted clothing. But all of the other clothing here that isn't Thrumbo, I'll bring with me to sell. So the Thrumbo for Duster can stay, and the Tainted Toques can stay. And everything else I'm going to sell. The reason I'm going to sell everything else is Trusting can always make more of them, even if it is Double Strand, because I have a pretty renewable source of Double Strand. Bring what little silver I have left. Bring 18 meals, let's say, and then some raw corn and rice, leaving only potatoes. 1 bedroll, a few medicine, and we'll be out on our way. Caravan doesn't really have any additional carry weight left. So that I don't have to starve, I'm going to set hauling as a super high priority. And I'm going to have everybody, even my colonists, haul some potatoes to hoppers. It's getting a little frustrating that they haven't done that yet. All right, Bunny, or Sven rather, is gonna